Yo, what's up trainers, welcome back to a new video, and in today's video we're going to be diving into the Ultra League. The team I'm showcasing today is going to be HELIOLISK on the lead. As a safe swap we're using that GOLISCOPOD, which is a very strong safe swap as well. Mine is only rank 100, but honestly I just had to make one and infested all the dust. And as a closer we got the POLIWRATH with counter, scald and ice punch, honestly a very strong one as well. HELIOLISK with breaking swipe can just debuff. Well, it's a real debuff monster. And without further ado, let's hop into these matches. This first match I recorded a bit too late, that's why I skipped the first part of this battle, but honestly it didn't really matter too much, as we are not missing so many things of this battle. So here they safe swap into their Giratina, maybe trying to catch, I don't know, a grass nut or something like that, but we weren't at the move just yet. So I'm just gonna go for the debuff here, and then afterwards we will get to the liquidation. I think I'm gonna go for the I'm gonna go for the aerial ace. It was a better play. In general, if you safe swap and they reply with a Giratina, go for one liquidation. If you get the debuff, you have a chance of winning that mid-game matchup. If not, there's just not a lot of chances you will flip that matchup. So, and after you didn't get or did get the debuff, go for aerial ace straight away. It's no point of going for the liquidation anymore. So here, as you can see, we actually preserve the safe or the alignment, and now we're just going to spam out these aerial aces. Honestly, I'm just going to spam out as soon as I get there once again. So I'm not going to go for one extra Shadow Claw in this scenario, just to make sure that we get this damage off, as it's just going to allow us to maybe get to a third as well. But they make a nice catch on their final Pokemon, which is going to be a Sand Slash. But honestly, now they are switch locked in, so we just can come in with the POLIWRATH, and this is going to be a GG, as we will load up to so much energy that there's no point of return for them. So next game. Also, by the way, if you see my elo, the reason why I got so low in my elo, I dropped like 500 points or something, is this whole week with the Great League still, when the Great League was still live, I honestly just played games with my rank 1 Murkrow, which I got, which I had for a long time in my in my roster, and I leveled it up all the way to well, level 49 or something, just like 1499 CP. I will show it right now, and honestly it was an absolute disaster, but it was worth it to just catch some opponents off guard and just delete them with a Murkrow, a rank 1 Murkrow. I have to say that's why I like invested 300,000 stars in that Pokemon. But as you can see, it didn't really pay off for me that well. I think I had like one positive set, and besides that I went straight negative all the time. Was it worth it? Well, probably not, but I had some fun, so that's all that matters, right? So as you can see, we are now trying to climb up back up again, but also after I've reached a certain amount of elo, and in this case for me always the goal is to reach legend, and then maybe we'll push up to the top 500 again or something like that. But after that I don't really care too much also about my elo. And then I'm just more here to play for fun and using Pokemons or teams that I haven't been used a lot in that period before, because in general you just want to reach your goal, and for me that's always reaching legend and then trying to maybe climb up to the leaderboards, something like that. And then after a while I'm getting bored of being or playing also very competitive, and then I start to play around with, for example, Murkrows or other Pokemons like that. So let me know in the comments down below if you have goals for yourself in the battle season, if you also, for example, start to play around a bit more by using some spies, Pokemons that aren't that strong but you really want to see how they perform. Let me know down in the comments below. So here honestly the alignment we have is perfect. It's absolutely perfect. We have the Sand Slash on our GOLISCOPOD, and we can just spam out these liquidations here. We're gonna go for the first one, get the KO, and now what do they have as the final Pokemon? It's actually going to be a defense from the Deoxys. Obviously I was talking about my elo and stuff like that, that's why I didn't really commentate in this match, but honestly this match was so sick. I hope you maybe paid a little bit of attention to the match as well as I as what I just told. But honestly that game was really sick, as the defense from Deoxys is a real core breaker for this team. So being able to beat a team where it has the defense from Deoxys is really a big achievement, honestly. So here I'm just going to reply with my POLIWRATH, which is going to be absolutely fine after we debuff them, and we even catch the Asian power, which is a huge, well, it's not a huge catch, but it's honestly, it's just better for us than it is for my opponent in this scenario at this point. And as you can see, we can easily tank these Dragon Claws after we debuff them as well with the Breaking Swipe. And now we can just spam out these Ice Punches. I could have came in with my GOLISCOPOD as well, but honestly, seeing their first Pokemon, lead Pokemon, I was thinking that my GOLISCOPOD probably had more play in the back than my POLIWRATH would have, so that's why I also SAFESWAP or replied with the POLIWRATH. Here I'm going to undercharge it. Why? Because I don't want their Cresselia, if I'm not mistaken, or the I forgot their lead Pokemon honestly, but their lead Pokemon to get less farm. So I'm just going to undercharge it here, make sure that they get a couple of more Shadow Claws through, and then afterwards they had a GOLISCOPOD of their own on the lead, by the way. And then afterwards we will just get the KO here. Now they will only get a few Shadow Claws instead of the probably the double liquidation they would have had if they farm me all the way down from that other HP range. So we can easily come back in with the HELIOLISK here and then just take these moves. They have X-Scissor, which is very nice. Here I'm gonna go for yet another Breaking Swipe, which is fine. We still have an HP range where they cannot farm us down with the Shadow Claw on the GOLISCOPOD. And now we can just reply with our own GOLISCOPOD to this Virizion. They can go for the Leaf Blade. It is debuffed, so it's not going to do as much as it would normally do. And now we can just spam out these aerial aces. There's nothing they can do to win this at this point. It's just a matter of time where they will see that they have lost this game. So GG's to my opponent in this one, but honestly, yeah, there's not going to be a lot here which or what they can do. Because we will just outpace them to any move we have really here. There's nothing they can do. I'm just going to say it again. So they're going to go for the move here. I'm just going to shield up this move, making sure that we preserve some HP on our GOLISCOPOD at this point. They swap into their GOLISCOPOD, which is fine. I can just spam out these Volt Switches. That's going to be enough really. I can now save my shield here. Coming with my GOLISCOPOD once again. Gonna go for the aerial ace just now. We'll get them into a range probably where we can farm them down. Leave with yet another aerial ace, and that's going to be a GG for this game, as we can now safely shield up this move. Even though it's not going to be a aerial ace, it's going to be an X-Scissor. That would still be enough to take us out. Now we can farm them down, get to the aerial ace before they get to another move, and that is going to be a GG. Very well played, as this is going to be double super effective, taking out the Virizion. GG's. Alrighty, next game. So in the next game we face a Tentacruel. So honestly a very positive lead for us, and the only Pokemon really that doesn't want to see this Pokemon is going to be our POLIWRATH. So I'm expecting this is a nice bait out for a counter user, but in general something I see is that when they are weak against your lead Pokemon, in general one of the two back Pokemons which has a decent matchup against the Tentacruel in this case, so the GOLISCOPOD against the Tentacruel, it's going to be perfectly fine for you to just basically do a lot of damage against them anyways with your GOLISCOPOD or with the Shadow Claw damage or with the Volt Switch damage, stuff like that. It's going to be just fine. So here they come back in with the Tentacruel, and they're going to get a nice farm down. Honestly, a bit too much energy maybe I should have just gave them then a bit less, but as you can see it's not going to matter too much, as we will reach yet another Scald. No, we won't, barely, which is a bit unfortunate as they now have a lot of energy. So I decide to come in, go for the Breaking Swipe straight away, and making sure that they get the debuff, and now I might try to catch a move if all possible, and I'm gonna go swap in and we actually catch it. So this is very nice, as long as it's not going to be a Sludge Wave, it's just going to be a Scald. It's going to be even debuffed as well, so that's going to do even less. And at this point I don't really care if they have a hard hitting move. I'm just going to make sure that I'm not going to shield here, and they actually go for yet another Scald. So at this point I'm thinking they might run Blizzard as well as a noob move, and if that's the case there's just nothing they can hit as hard for. But at this point they're stating so long, I'm overfarming by a lot, as much as I dare, going for the liquidation as it does a bit more instead of the aerial ace, which is not step right, and the liquidation is, and it can also debuff you, and they actually have an Obstagoon in the back. So this is kind of scary, honestly. I was expecting something else, but honestly the bait out of the counter user here was maybe the better play, but also Shadow Claw on the normal type is just a pain in the ass, to be honest. So we basically had to come in with the POLIWRATH, and then afterwards just see how it goes. So here I'm actually gonna go for the Breaking Swipe as soon as I get there. there, hoping that we will actually reach another one after they are debuffed and the counter is going to do less damage. So now let's see if we can actually reach another one. We cannot, unfortunately. We will get farmed down, and now we need to get to the aerial waves as quick as we can. Go for it, take them out, and then maybe if they, as long as they don't get the boost, which they get. So this honestly is gonna be game changing, because now, before we probably had more HP where we would be able to just take a few poison jabs, and now this is going to tie us up, honestly, which is a real pain in the ass, as we well, should have won that game, but due to that boost they actually got a tie out of it, so we both got TL. So here, as you can see, we have pick up a nice lead, and I'm just gonna go farm up some energy and hoping to catch the focus blast. And if this is going to be the focus blast, that's going to be a huge catch, which it is. And now we can actually well, easily come in this matchup. All their energy is gone, meaning that we are on even energy, sort of. And now we can actually go for the Scald here, which is fine, hoping to get the debuff, which we get actually, which is nice, but we have to shield up anyway, so these lock-ons are doing a bit less energy. But besides that, we need to shield whatever they throw, basically. If they went for the focus blast, that would have been well, probably enough to chaos as well. And here I'm actually gonna go for the move. I should have went for the ice punch in this scenario, honestly, looking back at it right now. Didn't want to risk it, although there was basically no risk. We will get to another move here. I was afraid of them going for the Dragon Claw before I would reach the Scald. So I'm just gonna go for the ice punch here, hoping that my opponent miscounted as well, which they did. And now I'm just going to swap into my HELIOLISK, go for the breaking swipe as soon as I get there, just straight away. And then afterwards, as you can see, they actually stay in and allow us to get to another breaking swipe, which is a huge misplay by my opponent, if you ask me, because now I'm feeling confident that I can take this next blast burn. So I'm just gonna go for an extra, for the volt switch, going to let this go, and now afterwards they blast burn us. We can actually survive a shadow blast burn. They got a Giratina in the back, and because they hard swapped in, or basically they had to, because otherwise their Pokemon would have been taken out by the volt switch damage, we can actually get to 2 breaking swipes due to the fact that we are a normal subtyping. It just absolutely shreds the Giratina, the Charizard, and it also has some decent play against the Registeel, although the alignment was great, so we didn't have to play that matchup, and we just take them out, winning this game. So here we face off against a Umbreon. Umbreon honestly going to be a very tough Pokemon for, well, basically the HELIOLISK, just because it outbulks us, and we are not doing any significant damage with the volt switches there, or with the breaking swipe, I should say. So that's just going to be a matchup where we will get easily outbulked. So as you can see, we are going to save swap now into our Goliscopod, or we save swap into the Goliscopod, just to make sure that we lure out something that can be strong against POLIWRATH as well. And we have now also got some nice energy on our HELIOLISK. So things are not looking too good, or too bad I should say, as well as we get the switch or the alignment we want. And at this point we can easily line up the Umbreon against our POLIWRATH, and that's just going to be probably a GG, as I expect them to have something in the back where my energy up HELIOLISK can probably take a good advantage from. Now let's see, what do they have in the back? They're not swapping out just yet, even though this is going to be a horrible matchup for them. I'm not expecting them to have the move of Psychic, as that's just a bit worse in this meta. Honestly, it's not gonna clutch up a lot of plays for you, as Last Resort is just better in most situations. So here we actually gonna go for the Scald. It lands, and now they swap into the third Pokemon, which is going to be the Talonflame. And honestly, we just have the moves to do whatever we can against this Talonflame. We're gonna go for 1 volt switch as we swap in, go for the move straight away. We don't allow them to sneak, which is absolutely huge. We're gonna go for yet another breaking swipe as soon as we get there. Now they are double debuffed, and at this point there's just nothing they can hit me for that's going to KO, as we just debuffed them twice. We get a volt switch through as well, so if this is going to be a Brave Bird, we will probably take them out after 1 more volt switch. They go for the Brave Bird, that did absolutely nothing to us, which is insane. Now we can spam out this breaking swipe. They went for it straight away, meaning this is a CMP tie, as no Snarl went through. And if this game wasn't over already, this game is now, and my opponent knows it as well. So that's going to be a GG, very well played. So, in the next game we pick up a sort of tricky lead, but honestly our backline does way better. So I'm just going to save swap instantly into that Goliscopod. And even though this matchup doesn't look that good, as they can hit us or one-shot us with the meteor beam, they make a nice catch here as they safe swap into that Trevenant. But honestly, this is not too bad for me, as 2 aerial aces wouldn't KO anyways. So now at this point, this aerial ace will be enough to threaten a shield, which we get here, and that's absolutely huge. So now here I'm debating, do I want to play for a switch? And I think I will, so I'm just gonna go for my shield here. If they go for the Shadow Ball, that's absolutely perfect, and I think that's a better play honestly from my opponent to go straight Shadow Ball, securing the fact that you either get switch or that you take out that GOLISCOPOD. Or you will get a shield guaranteed, but that's I think better than a seed bomb there, because I would have outpaced you to the aerial ace anyway. So here they go for the move. The meteor beam takes us out here. We don't need to shield because we have the alignment we need, and at this point they got their own POLIWRATH in the back as well, and we can just go for a Scald, hoping for a debuff. And then afterwards I would have swapped into my HELIOLISK, so the top left they know, and that's going to be a GG. So we pick up a terrible lead honestly, because they have drill run, and that's going to be super effective damage, and we can only hit them for a resisted move. So things are gonna go from bad to worse as we get hard countered in the lead and also in the switch, where we can basically not hit them for any significant damage in this matchup. We can go for the liquidation, hoping to get the debuff in this matchup, and then afterwards I will spam out these aerial aces. Unfortunately we don't get the debuff, so yeah, this is just looking absolutely horrible for us. I'm not expecting a win at this point, as there are a lot of things that well, didn't go our way in this match. But honestly, never give up, because maybe sometimes there's a third Pokemon in the back where both of your mons are strong against, and if that's going to be the case, we can actually do something in this game. So here I'm gonna go to my POLIWRATH, probably get some nice farm down, and also don't have to shield and move, as it is just going to be a Dragon Claw here, which we can easily take. As you can see right now, we're just gonna go for the farm down here. We get the farm down, and that's absolutely perfect for us. Now let's see, what do they have in the back? Is it something we can have some play against, or are we gonna get RPS? It's going to be a GOLISCOPOD. So at this point, things are not looking too well, to be honest. So I'm just gonna try to play it out anyways. Let's see if we can actually take a drill run after we have debuffed them twice. I'm gonna build up to a potential Thunderbolt, so I'm hoping that my opponent will actually shield here, and they actually shield, so that's huge. Now maybe there's a chance, honestly, after we have debuffed them a few times, maybe we can live some of these moves and, well, maybe get the win still. Now let's see, we're gonna go for yet another Thunderbolt. It could be, I'm gonna go for yet another Breaking Swipe, and do we get another shield? We actually do, and that's huge, because now this is going to be a drill round which we can easily take. We've taken both of their shields, and we can put them into a range where maybe we can counter them down. So I'm just going to stay in here, gonna go for a nice overfar, and now we're gonna swap in. I could have went there for the Ice Punch, but honestly this works out very well for me as well. If they have aerial ace, that's going to be fine, but now we are locked and loaded on our POLIWRATH, or on our HELIOLISK I should say, and they're in a range where I think one Breaking Swipe is actually enough to take them out, and we win CMP. So at this point it might not look the best, but honestly if we can get them into a range where one Breaking Swipe is going to be enough to get the KO, which I think we just did, they went for the move, and this is now looking very good for us. I think if they went for the full farm down, I'm not too sure if we win CMP. Here I make a crucial mistake by going for the extra, even though I still already had like two moves, so honestly I did not have to do it. And here I make yet another mistake where I go for the Breaking Swipe, but honestly we still get the dub, as I could have went for the Grass Knot to just make sure that we could get, or would get that KO, but honestly the Breaking Swipe was enough to get that KO as well, and we take that game. GG's. That was a very nice game, to be honest. So because things were not looking good. So after this game we're hopping into the next one, and in this next game we face up against a tough lead into the Gligar. Gligar is a tough Pokemon for this team, as it just basically does well against my whole team, but honestly we can hit it back for some significant super effective damage with our backline, so things are not looking completely chanceless. We do have a chance if we get the alignment right, but also if we manage our energy well. So if so for example, this is a perfect scenario to just hard swap in, come with your POLIWRATH, and now we're gonna load up onto some nice energy. They got the Flyer on the lead, they safe swap into that Registeel, so I'm expecting something else that's gonna be weak against counter, maybe a Steel type, like a Steelix or something like that. But if that's going to be the case, that's going to be tough. But if it's something else that's weak to fighting, then we have a chance. So here, they safe swap, or they reply straight away, hard swapping back into that Gligar, which is a huge tell that something in the back is weak. Here I'm going to shield up, which in hindsight maybe would have been a brave call, but also a better call to just call the bait here, because now they will get to that Earthquake, and we cannot take an Earthquake on our Heliolisk. So I just need to basically hope that whatever is in the back is, well, so we have some play against. If they go for the Earthquake here, I'm feeling quite confident that they won't reach another Earthquake until we can farm up some nice energy. Even though these are Volt Switches are resisted, we can still just easily go up to the Breaking Swipe. I didn't want to risk it there, so I just went for it straight away. We take them out here because I was afraid of them catching. Here it is actually a Swampert, so this looks doable. I wait a turn, go for the Grass Knot. We get the Grass Knot off onto the Swampert, and honestly, this game once again didn't look very winnable. But we get to one-shot the Swampert, get out of here, get to lead it, and we actually take that dub. So that was a huge game as well. So next we pick up a Clefable, and Fairy types on the lead, or stuff like Nidoqueen, but Fairy types as well aren't the greatest leads, as your Breaking Swipe is just going to be resisted. So going for a Grass Knot here is maybe the better play, but honestly I was hoping that they would bait with a Meteor Mash, but they went for the Moonblast, and that damage that we just took, well, honestly, I didn't want to take that damage, but we now took it, so we get the Clefable low, which is a nice and positive thing, honestly. But still, the Clefable is an annoying Pokemon to take down, as our backline doesn't really like it too much. So here they come into with the Steelix, and Steelix loves to shield right, especially the first move, due to the fact that after they Breaking Swipe, they can probably take that move better. So as you can see, we go for the bait and we get the shield, so that's a nice way of thinking of where and where not to bait. And in this case, it actually saved up some energy for us, which is very helpful. So now we can actually go for the liquidation spam. I'm not expecting them to shield once more after they have debuffed our attack, which they don't. And now can we reach another move? No, we cannot, as they go for it straight away. But this actually sets us up for a very nice farmland on our final Pokemon. And I'm just going to hard swap in, securing my last Pokemon as well. And now the game is stuttering like crazy. So this is really annoying, as I don't know where they're at right now in their accounting, but they have a Nidoqueen in the back, so this looks doable, although Nidoqueen is very oppressive, so it's still a Pokemon that can do a lot of damage without throwing a lot of moves. One Poison Fang actually already puts us into a range where all the other poison jabs are basically taking us, well, out very slowly, which is very annoying. As you can see, we're already almost in the red. I'm gonna go for the Ice Punch straight away, hoping that my opponent, well, lets it go for whatever reason, but they know better, and our switch timer is not getting up. I cannot switch out, unfortunately. They're gonna take us out here. They go for the move, but honestly, yeah, things are basically over. We needed that Poliwrath to stay a bit more alive. I can go for the Grass Knot here to secure the KO. Wasn't sure if the Breaking Swipe would have been enough. Maybe it would have been, but I don't think it would. And if we would have had to take one more Poison Jab into that Volt Switch animation, I think they would have just straight up KO'd us after that anyways. So yeah, they win this game. Unfortunate. GG's to my opponent, and that's going to be it for this video as well. So let me know if you enjoyed this video. Honestly, this team worked out very well for me. You can also maybe try another electric type Pokemon on the lead if you don't have a Heliolisk. Maybe try a MAGNEZONE or something like that, but honestly the core of the Heliolisk and the backline Pokemon with the GOLISCOPOD SAFESWAP and then the POLIWRATH as a sweeper just works out really well and feels like a really solid team, and also a really fun team to play. Honestly, Heliolisk is such a fun Pokemon to use, so I would highly recommend you using it if you got one yourself, and if not, maybe use another electric type Pokemon on the lead. So if you like this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you trainers in the next one. Peace.